Horror. The Machine. 2 years after the Japanese surrendered unconditionally, the Manhattan Project was disbanded. Some were relocated to other research projects, some went back to teaching, and others simply retired. Amidst these uncertainties about the future, I received a letter from my friend and colleague who had worked with me on the project. He wanted to show me what he called his magnum opus. For the sake of his privacy, as he would have wished, let's use the alias Victor F. I visited him at his summer home in Honolulu. Victor was a strange person. Not in a tortured genius sense, I really thought he was not right in the head. The man welcomed me with the same warmth he always did and a smile on his face. He had quitted immediately after the second bomb was dropped and moved back to Honolulu. After a few rounds of pleasantries, I asked him what it was that he wanted to show me. His eyes perked up. This was nothing strange. There was nothing U.S. scientists loved more than sharing our works. You know, my brother was stationed at Pearl Harbor. He put out his cigarette. When we were kids, we were inseparable. And yet, when I went back to Hawaii, I could not recognize him. A shame, really. I took the first flight back, too. He laughed. That day, right after the attack, Victor took the first flight from New York to Hawaii. When he got to the Army hospital, the person before him couldn't be recognized as his brother. In fact, it could barely have been recognized as a person at all. All 4 limbs had been blown off, so were his jaw and nose. His eyes were still intact, but there was no hope left that they would ever open again. The entire right side of his body was wrapped in a grotesque mess of bandages that had turned black from the rotting flesh. And obviously his heart had stopped. Victor brought his remains home. So after that, what happened? I asked. Victor stared out the window. On the way back to Honolulu, Victor realized something. Since he left for college, since his brother enlisted, they barely spoke. There were so many things that he missed out on telling his brother, about the new job he got or about moving to New York. Suddenly, Victor felt the urge to talk to his brother once more. Victor led me to the attic. He told me there was a feat of scientific advancement never seen before. What he was referring to was an amalgamation of machinery. They said a human could not live without a beating heart. Victor turned to me in a weak smile. They were wrong. Just then, between the jumbled-up wires and tubes, I saw something that resembled human skin. I turned to Victor in shock. It had been 6 years, surely it can't be. He just stared blankly ahead, past the machines. Somewhere far beyond the setting sun in the horizon, I couldn't sleep for a while after that, even after leaving Honolulu. I often wondered why Victor felt the need to show me that. Maybe we scientists truly loved nothing more than to show our works. Or maybe even he wasn't convinced that that was real life. Maybe by showing me his works he thought he could then be convinced. And it was possible that he could, in the end, from under all those tubes and wires, hear the phrase, "Welcome home, brother." I guess we'll never know, since Victor committed suicide not long after that day.